Need you to lock in because I'm about to give you the best game of your life. I swear to God. I swear to God.
Today in Riverton, the oldest resident on record is celebrating a remarkable birthday. Reporter Romeo Carter is at St. Luke's Hospital with Edith Harper, who turns 150.
I want weed.
Okay. All right.
Have you ever been able to remote view?
I don't want to talk about that.
No?
I'm not saying it on camera. Good question.
What can you say about remote viewing?
I can tell you this, that you got to be careful with remote viewing because you have sentinels who are patrolling who comes into that space. And if you disobey them, they can trap your soul, basically.
You can call it religion, ethnicity, anything you want to. But its ultimate reality is that it is used to do what? Control the behavior and perceptions of other people in the interest of the people who belong to that thing. That's all it is. And the first question you ask, and so the thing goes out, you're anti-Semitic. Now, it doesn't matter what you said, whether you told the truth or not the truth, or this or that, has nothing to do with that.
Effect of reducing population growth. That's this big benefit. The population is growing the fastest where people are less able to deal with it.
Will we still need humans?
Not for most things. We'll decide. We have the twin challenges of both population growth and climate change. First, we've got population. Now, the world today has 6.8 billion people. Now, if we do a really great job on new vaccines, healthcare, reproductive health services, we could lower that by perhaps 10 or 15%.
Do you see these marks here, here, and here in my face? And then all of the acne scars in my face right now. This all happened because I bought some Oakley Metas. I don't know what type of chemical they have in those glasses. It burned everywhere that the glasses sit. You can literally see the line where my glasses sit. It burned everywhere that the glasses sit, and it completely broke my face out. It was literally the only thing that I did differently. And it completely, whatever chemical is in these glasses, it just like tore me in half. Then on top of that, and I want y'all to keep in mind that this was close to 2 months ago, and these bruises and scars still have not gone away. I have tried everything to get this stuff to clear up. Speaking of me trying everything to get this stuff to clear up, I bought this to see if I could get rid of the circles and things like that. Let me be clear with y'all, this shit ain't nothing but greasy. Look at this. I want y'all to see how greasy this mess is.
Nothing.
Like, look how shiny my face is. I'm not about to get on here and play with y'all.
See, I knew there was a reason why every content creator is pushing those glasses, bro. Every single one of them has one on. Bro, so y'all know what I did. Bro, she's not the first one that's going through this. Look at this. The same thing happened to my friend with the Oakley glasses. She kept saying it was the glasses, but I was like, how? So, bro, what are they doing? This person said as soon as they got an Oakley, it tore their face up as well, too. And people are also agreeing with me that it's also radiation, that it's not chemical. I told y'all. Y'all, just the fact that they got all the content creators pushing it out right now, man, how do y'all know they're not being paid to do that?
Okay, look, sexualization is capitalism. That's not a metaphor. It's just what happens when attraction gets pushed through a market logic. Because market logic has 3 rules. Be visible, be legible, and be comparable. And once those 3 rules enter desire, bodies stop being bodies and they become signals. Hair signals, makeup signals, body signals, clothing signals, gym signals, and aesthetic signals. People think they're looking at attraction. They're not. They're looking at desirability packaging. Because sexualization trains the brain to look at people the way that a grocery scanner reads products. Quick signal, instant judgment, move on. But erotic attraction does not work like that. Listen to me. Erotic attraction does not work like that. It runs on mystery, and sexualization destroys mystery instantly because sexualization replaces encounter with maximum visibility. Everything is already announced. Everything is already exaggerated. Everything is already optimized to be understood in 3 seconds. But fascination does not grow where everything is immediately understood. That isn't how it works. Fascination grows in the space between someone noticing, right? Between you noticing someone and understanding them. I want you to get that. Fascination grows in the space between you noticing someone and understanding them. Sexualization collapses that space. That's why hypersexual environments often feel strangely dead. They usually do, right? Everything's visible. Nothing is intriguing, everything is loud, and nothing unfolds. And that's the uncomfortable part about all this. That men drift towards sexualization and flirting because it's the only language many of them were ever handed. Oh, I want you to listen to me. I want you to listen to me. Most of men's flirting today is a combination of just 3 categories: porn language, locker room language, and advertising language. And then they try to make intimacy out of that. That's how it works. I just want you to think about it. Because porn language turns bodies into explicit stimulus. Locker room language turns bodies into competitive bragging. And then advertising language turns bodies into desirability slogans. And you put those 3 together, what do you get? What do you get? Damn, she got a body. She looks hot. Right. You get that type of talk. That is not flirting. That is product review. I want you to lock in on that. It's not even real desire. It is risk management. Sexualized language it signals intent quickly while protecting the speaker from real vulnerability. Because if she doesn't respond to you, the retreat is already baked in. I was just joking. You know how you said that. You know how you've heard that. So there's another side to this that people often don't talk about. Women dislike sexualization. I don't know why that's hard to explain, folks. It's just a fact. Modern environments quietly force their participation in it, though, because sexualization is the fastest way to become legible to attention systems, and attention systems reward spectacle. I just want you to understand what I'm trying to say. Spectacle rewards signals. Signals reward sexualization. It is a loop. It's a loop, right? Because attention systems reward spectacle. Spectacle systems reward signals, and signals reward sexualization, which means people slowly get trained to convert their bodies into advertising surfaces. All it is. And the strategy seems strangely logical because if visibility increases, attention increases. But attention is not attraction. Catch what I just said. Attention is not attraction. Attention is traffic. Attraction is singular. And singular attraction requires something that the market can't tolerate. Guess what it is? Mystery. Mystery requires an interior life. It requires incomplete knowledge. It requires the possibility that someone is more than what can be scanned in 3 seconds. It really does. Fascination takes more than that. And this is where the trap shows up inside relationships. Because this is also why a relationship can be freaky all day and still die. Because sexualization increases the stimulus while killing the mystery eroticism needed to breathe. It happens all the time. Sexualization can create intensity. I'm not knocking that. But intensity is not the same thing as erotic life. Intensity burns. Eroticism breathes. That's why real flirting sounds completely different from sexualized language.
The Solon, Black Americans, African Americans, and the FBA are the same people. It's just each group of people has access to a different amount of information, okay? The people with the most amount of information and education about the truth, they're calling themselves indigenous. The people with the least amount of information and evidence about the truth, they're still calling themselves African American. It's cool. They might make it, they might not. They just might fall to the wayside. Who knows? They're not critical thinkers, and they actually fear the truth more than a comfortable lie. So African American will do just fine for them. It's not my business anymore. I really don't give a fuck. But I'm seeing there is a spectrum of awareness of the truth. There's a spectrum of literate, illiterate, willing to learn, not willing to learn, willing to stay how things are, willing to move forward, willing to deconstruct society and the government, happy to just be a mental slave. Like, there is a spectrum of awareness in the Black American community, like any community. As you can see, in the Latino community, there's a spectrum of awareness. Yes! And a lot of people are on their bottom half, as we saw in this last election. But Solon people, Black Americans, FBA, Indigenous Americans, same fucking people.
How bad was slavery, Daisy? How bad?
It couldn't be any worse there. I just keep trying to tell you. Can anything be any worse when a white man was having children by the Negro slave women and then putting them up for sale on the block? My father, they wanted to sell my father for a breeder for $12,000 when he was 12 years old. And old Golden, John Golden, was the rich planter. He wouldn't sell him for that. This lady that was in this room this morning is from New Orleans, one of the women. Just this past 2 weeks, she found this picture of my father down in New Orleans, and she's bringing it to me now I'm going to have a copy of my father.
Great. What regiment did he fight in, Daisy?
1st New Jersey Cavalry. When he ran away, my father was on the plantation working for his master, and he with 27 other boys ran away, swam across the Rappahannock River, and joined the 1st New Jersey Cavalry.
The best lie that I like in geography is the first one they teach us. They teach us there are five parts of the world, 5 continents.
Right.
You know, or if you're in the U.S., they say there are 7 continents, right?
Right.
And the first one they name is Europe.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we could swallow it if we're not thinking.
Right.
But then the next thing they tell us is a continent is a large mass of land surrounded by water.
Right.
And if you look with your plain eyes on the map, you will see that Europe is neither a large mass of land nor surrounded by water.
Absolutely.
So the 2 elements that qualifies a continent, Europe is disqualified.
A lot of white people believe that black people commit more crimes, but the truth is that black people are convicted of more crimes. Look at crack versus cocaine. Crack gets you way more time, even though cocaine is literally the purer form of the drug. More black people get busted for crack than pure cocaine, and more white people get busted with pure cocaine than crack. And this isn't an accident. Back in the Nixon administration, his domestic advisor even admitted to wanting to disrupt black communities by heavily criminalizing drugs associated with those communities. This was always about control, never about crime. The same system that used slave patrols to catch runaway slaves merely evolved into modern policing and mass incarceration.
Hold on a minute. Police in here.
Oh, okay.
It's okay, they're gone now.
Would a regular phone call be better?
No, because it does not allow us to just be ourselves. You know, when we present our stories, we want to present our whole self, not just our voice. We're in these walled off secret societies. These are state institutions. But it's one of the only state institutions that the public or the media has no access to. How can a journalist go into a war zone but can't go into a prison in the United States of America?
The public is already conditioned not to believe a person who's incarcerated. I'm in prison. I'm supposed to lie. I'm supposed to make up excuses. I'm supposed to exaggerate. That's why the administration hates the recording. They don't want the public to see the conditions in here. They cover up all the drug addiction.
Man needs help, for real. Addiction is real.
And the atrocities and the corruption.
Look at this. The riot team. They just beat some folks. See that? And the man bloody. Damn, man.
When you hear Department of Corrections, you think about an institution where people are going to classes, people are getting treatment, people are doing things towards correction. But that's nothing close to what's going on behind the walls of the ADOC.
Apple Maps has quietly removed the names of villages in southern Lebanon. I went to Bint Jebel to make a map and I realized that it's no longer there. And it's across the entire south. Even Nakor is gone, but all the villages in Israel remain. Coincidentally, Dibin in Lebanon remains on the map because it's above the Litani River. While places like Qiyam are just not there anymore because it's south of the river. Israel's trying to occupy Lebanon south of the Litani River, and these are the places that Apple decided no longer should have names. Even though Crimea, which has been a part of Russia for over a decade, still says Ukraine. Even typing in the village names like Bint Jebel, it doesn't take you to the village, it takes you to a government office because there's no village named Bint Jebel anymore in Lebanon according to Apple Maps. It's only been a month of the invasion and they're already trying to set the stage to make you forget that southern Lebanon ever existed.
Klein man, wie is klein man? A tatínek s maminkou říká?
Ferdinand. Otec, Helena mať, Josef, já,
Jo.
Marta sestra.
Vy jste tady jako mrtvej. Nás vedeme mezi mrtvejma. Já vás musím škrtnout.
Co napísala, že já pomer?
Jo.
Ne, já živ.
No, ale...
Já živ.
To bylo tak, řekněte mu, že...
Já živ.
V podstatě ty karty, těch materiálů se zachovalo strašně maličko, že jo?
Spravit, já živ.
Jozef leeft, maar dat blijkt niet uit de documenten. Zijn hele familie wordt als overleden beschouwd. Vader Ferdinand overleed in het ghetto Theresienstadt in 1943. Moeder Helena, zus Amalia, Jozef zelf.
Now the next question you're going to ask is, oh, how can I not be anti-Semitic? Don't say this, don't say that, don't do this, don't do that, and then we won't call you what? Anti-Semitic. And so when in striving to be what? Not anti-Semitic, you then what? Fall under the control of another people. Regardless as to whether they are right or wrong, or regardless of how unfair they are, as soon as you meet the requirements of not being called anti-Semitic, you're under control. And yet here's a people that's less than 3% of the American population, less than 1/10 of 1% of the world's population, who through the use of that term and through the throwing of that accusation can manipulate whole political and economic and social systems. And then they're the first ones to tell you that you shouldn't talk in terms of race.
It could be a village anywhere in Africa. Locals celebrating with their centuries-old music and dance. But Jambur is a million miles from the continent. And these apparent Africans are in fact Indians, whose ancestors have lived here in Gujarat state for up to 1,000 years. Known as Siddhis, this tribe of African descent retains few links with its mysterious past. They know nothing of how or why their forefathers came here. But there is one thing that ties them to their unique heritage.
In our musical performances, we are like one. We all have the same musical style. It's also the same when we dance.
Music and physical features are the few clues that anthropologists have to trace the Siddhis.
That man that said he was kidnapped by dolphins had to be telling the truth. The man that said he was kidnapped by dolphins and taken underwater to build an underwater city had to be telling the truth. And how do I know? Because I went down a rabbit hole and look at the shit that I found. Another person, not the same person, saying a similar story that happened in Florida as well. Oh, you don't believe me, right? Look at this shit. Listen to this man.
This is the story of a group of dolphins I met in Tampa Bay. I am a high-ranking, let's just say, member of a military organization that is centered in Tampa Bay. It was 2018.
Listen to the year.
I was doing some training near our base, actually, and we were swimming. And this group of dolphins was swimming around us, and we saw that very frequently. But one of them grabbed me by my foot and pulled me under. And when he pulled me under, he pulled me into like a cave. But when we got into the cave, it was filled with oxygen.
This sounds strikingly similar to the other guy, right? Let me refresh your memory. Florida man swimming in the ocean. 3 dolphins approach him, take him out to the middle of the sea, pull him down 40 feet under. This man said he was underground for 3 days straight with no oxygen. Back to the video. Hear the rest.
And so I got up out of the shallow pool that he had drugged me into, and there were hundreds of children in this cave. And they spoke some weird language that I've never heard anything like that. They were obviously human. They were obviously just children, but they were all in this cave. And the dolphins would sit in that puddle and just stare at us.
The video is much longer than that. What I will tell you is everything that those dolphins said to him, that man understood. That man said it was children down there with him. Children that didn't speak English, but were human. He also said that he was in a cave filled with oxygen. And the craziest thing, he said he touched something on the wall that glowed. And when he took his hand off of it, his hand was glowing. There is a reason why they tell us to stay away from the dolphins.
Yeah, so if you go remote viewing in a restricted area, if you keep coming back, they can trap your consciousness someplace. There are people in hospitals right now in comas who's remote viewing and they got trapped someplace else.
What the fuck? Check out Area 51. No, they got a blockade. I heard
They got a blockade
around
Area 51 and Mount Shasta.
You could stop remote viewing?
They got people. All right. They have. All right.
He said, all right.
But the moon came up, among other things. And he said, listen, after Swan was sent, we kept sending people to the moon, remote viewers. And we distinctly got the message from these guys on the moon, do not keep sending people here. This is off limits. And we didn't listen to them. And the last viewer that we sent up there, his soul is trapped on the moon. His body is in a coma in a special medical facility run by the CIA. And his family has been given like medical compensation or whatever. They told him, like, they told his family that the guy had died in the line of duty or whatever. And he's been held in stasis for years and years as they wait for his soul to come back from the moon, where apparently there's the capacity to lure and trap somebody's consciousness, which they finally did to one of these CIA remote viewers after repeatedly telling them not to surveil whatever's going on up there.
A kid born today will never be smarter than AI. I expect some really bad stuff to happen because of the technology. And anybody will be able to make a video of you doing whatever they want with video that's publicly available of you on the internet. There'll be extremely capable biomodels available open source that could help people create new pathogens. I cannot imagine having gone through that, like figuring out how to raise a newborn without ChatGPT.
Why should we trust you?
You shouldn't. Well, we haven't put a sex bot avatar in ChatGPT yet. Ads plus AI is sort of uniquely unsettling to me. The board can fire me. I think that's important. I think the board over time needs to get democratized to all of humanity. There's many ways that could be implemented. If I were 22 right now and graduating college, I would feel like the luckiest kid in all of history. We don't yet know how to think about some superintelligence being aligned with dictators and totalitarian countries. We don't know how to think about countries using AI to fight new kinds of war with each other. People talk about how much energy it takes to train an AI model relative to how much it costs a human to do one inference query. But it also takes a lot of energy to train a human. It takes like 20 years of life and all of the food you eat during that time before you get smart. I think AI will probably, most likely sort of lead to the end of the world, but in the meantime, there will be great companies created with serious...
All right, so you can see that none of this is grassroots. This is all paid for. Hey, how you doing, guys? Where are we headed with these signs? We're good, William. Okay, so this guy's gonna drive up, and they're gonna load all the signs into this car right here. Here we go. Let's load them all into this van. See for yourself, ladies and gentlemen. Witness this.
What is wrong?
What is wrong with us?
You are such a cowardly piece of shit.
Why?
You are.
Who pays me? YouTube pays me. My viewers pay me.
How much
by
money
watching.
do you get? This is not real journalism. You're a fake. You're a complete fake journalist.
Okay. Did you or did you not get $20 million from Roy Neville Singham to protest? Did you or did you not?
How much money do you get for your right-wing bullshit? That's what I want to know.
Okay. So you can look on YouTube on Social Blade. You can see exactly how much I earn. Yeah, take a photo of me as if there isn't already a photo. Why are you taking a photo of me as if you don't already know who I am?
I don't understand.
You're all sick of me. So what are you going to do about it?
What am I going to do about it?
Yeah, what are you going to do about it?
Well, I don't have to do anything about it because you don't bother us that much. You don't.
Clearly I am because you're videoing me.
You're just a complete idiot. You're a fake journalist.
I'm a fake journalist.
I think that you should.
What have I done that's fake?
Ashamed of yourself every single day.
You should feel ashamed for yourself for sowing division
and sidewalk. Get a real job, be a real journalist, and do something for something in your life.
How can you say with a straight face for me to get a real job? How can you keep a straight face and say that? Did you or did you not get $20 million from Roy Neville Singham? You can't deny it. Meet Layan Fulihan. She's a paid protester. Her base salary is $70,000 with an additional compensation of $8,649. So who is this woman getting paid $80K a year to protest? Layan is a Columbia alum with a Palestinian background. She holds a full-time staff position as an educator at the People's Forum as she protests all around New York City. Here she is alongside Taher, another paid protesting leader that we've exposed. Roy Neville Singham pays Layan to travel. That's why you see her speaking in Washington, D.C. at another protest. None of this is grassroots. Know that. Here she is being paid to argue with the police as she blocks traffic outside Columbia University.
Into the pen. You gotta go in the pen. You are blocking pedestrian traffic. You are blocking pedestrian.
Here she is again with Taher alongside Mahmoud Khalil. When she's arrested, Singham is there to bail her out. You can see the People's Forum announce that her and David Chung, another paid protester who gets paid $75,000 a year to protest, were both arrested. You can get David Chung's Friedman file that consists of never-seen-before research. Layan speaks at the People's Forum about her Marxist agenda. They actually teach classes advocating for Marxism at the People's Forum.
That's the edge of Albany Hill. That's looking south and west, out towards the city of El Cerrito. A lot of open space there in those days. Today it's all filled in, with the exception of Lauter's Lot, which is right there with a tree in it. I think that was a pear tree. We used to get in trouble if we'd go climb it. That was Sussman's property to the left. There's a lot looking out towards the bay. It was just vacant lot out there during those days. Now that's mostly filled in. Different things, potatoes, peas. There's a field. There it is, looking east. Up the hill to Calusa Avenue and the hills above it. Those are called hydrangeas. Mom loved those. There I am on a bike. You can see there's a lot off to the side, and then down the street. That's El Cerrito High School back off to the left. Then it was the Browns and the Baileys and the Cadews and the Sussmans and the empty lot, and then I don't know the name of the family that was there. They were members of the RLDS church. I'm not sure, is that Ina and Bud? Perhaps this is our backyard, the back windows there that went. Now this is interesting. Everybody's loading into the car out in front of the house, and it appears that we were getting ready to go on a trip, and in the following film we do go on a trip. Dad loved to go to Idaho and visit his siblings there. There's Mom climbing in. I guess she's going to be the driver. Somebody's standing in front of the house there, a young child, and it might have been Goni, or maybe more likely was a neighbor right there. I'm not sure who.
Is off to the birthplace of the East Bay.
The East Lake District is now predominantly Southeast Asian, Cambodian, Laotian, Vietnamese.
They used to call this road leading from downtown Oakland east of 14th Street. Then, someone came up with a more colorful name.
There is no simple majority of any ethnic group.
International Boulevard.
It comes through the district, San Antonio, starts to get more Hispanic.
As it runs through a district called the Fruitvale, the boulevard mirrors the area's ethnic diversity.
And so the Fruitvale is really also mirrors that same kind of experience, although we have the highest concentration of Latino population in this neighborhood.
For centuries, this place has drawn different cultures together, and it's also the birth of the entire East Bay as we know it.
This is what used to be East 14th Street, now International Boulevard.
Pamela Magnuson-Peddle and Betty Marvin have published a guided walking tour of the Fruitvale. The tour begins at an arch inscribed with symbolic images.
Notably, beginning with the bunches of fruit at the top.
It's always kind of interesting how neighborhoods get their names. They name them for rivers or streams or trees even. This place got its name for a sound. As legend has it, the proud Portuguese used to jingle their coins, reward for a hard day's work in the canneries. So the upper-class Fruitvale folk coined a nickname for the lower neighborhood.
So welcome to Jingletown.
Betty and Pamela's tour goes through Jingletown, as well as Fruitvale's commercial district.
It was considered Oakland's second downtown.
At the turn of the last century, Fruitvale's business district thrived. Oakland officially annexed Fruitvale in 1909, and the area and its cotton mills and its fruit canneries continued to thrive until after World War II, when the freeway came.
And it had an enormous impact on just making the cities a lot less livable.
Interstate 880 divided Jingletown. The freeways also allowed people to escape farther into suburbia. The canneries and the mills closed. Beginning in the 1960s, Fruitvale began to rot on the vine. It was in the 1950s and 60s, just as the neighborhood was declining, Spanish-speaking immigrants returned to the Fruitvale.
On the other side of the Golden Gate Bridge from San Francisco, a woman can buy the services of 2 nude masseurs.
How could I be so lucky? For the first time in my life, I completely took. I didn't give anything.
For 4 hours, they will bathe her, cradle her in a hot tub, massage her, and stroke her with peacock feathers. It costs $180. Marin County, California. Paradise beyond the Golden Gate. But is there trouble in paradise?
NBC News presents I Want It All Now.
Marvelous Marin, it's called. Marin County seems to have more of everything. More money, more beauty, more leisure, more education. That is, people with more schooling than any other place in California. Marin has more redwood hot tubs, possibly more liberal thinkers. This was one of the first centers of opposition to the war in Vietnam. And it has more joggers, more ecology enthusiasts, and so we're told, more cocaine snorters. Whatever the reasons, narcissism thrives in Marin County. Therapy is a light industry here in Marin County. It includes, I'd better consult my list, Reichian therapy, postural integration, various kinds of mind control, EST seminars, Tai Chi, Aikido, bioenergetics, visualization, guided fantasy, actualization, Rolfing, and that's a short. But we wonder whether one can leave Marin County behind. For we would guess that a lot of what goes on here is already somewhat familiar in, say, Bangor, Maine, or Corpus Christi, Texas, though perhaps in a form other than a hot tub. So, as this program bids farewell to marvelous Marin County of the 70s, what we may be saying is, hello, USA of the 80s.